Good afternoon, everybody. This is the meeting of the Mashpee Sewer Commission on Thursday, October 16th at 2 p.m. in Mashpee Town Hall in the Walkway Meeting Room. And we are broadcast live on local channel 8 in high definition channel 1072. And we're streamed live on the Town of Mashpee website. So may I ask you to please, I'm calling the meeting to order, and I would like us to stand for Pledge of Allegiance, if you're able to stand. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. And may I ask you to ask us to have a moment of silence? There's an awful lot going on in the world, and maybe one of the things we can think about are all the people who are dealing with the typhoon in Alaska, and also what was commemorated on Orange Shirt Day, to commemorate the idea of so many of the children from native tribes that were stolen away from their families. So if we'll have a moment of silence just to reflect on some of the things that are happening, and reflect on clean water. Okay, thank you. And may I ask the commissioners to introduce themselves?
Cody Erickson.
Alfred Toll.
And I'm Meredith Harris. And our wastewater department are Jared Meter and Ashley Fisher. Thank you very much. Okay, so to start the meeting off, we're going to need to have an approval of the minutes that were done from the meeting on September 18th.
Madam Chairman, I've read the draft and think it is a fair and accurate representation of the last meeting, and I move they be approved.
And is there a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you. And it was seconded by, so the motion was made by Mr. Toole and seconded by Mr. Erickson. All right, now on the next, sorry, oh, yes. All in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. All right, and if we move forward now to public comment, is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a public comment? Okay, seeing no takers, that would be, you're welcome to come up and speak if you'd like. Seeing that there are no takers, then we'll just move on forward to our next area of business, the presentation of an update on the project by Mark Drainville from GHD, our consulting engineer.
Okay, thank you. So this is I gave a pretty comprehensive update of projects last time. This is not going to be quite as comprehensive this time, but I want to touch on some of the same items. So for phase one, the couple of updates I'll provide on that. So the plant has been operating for a couple of months now. I would say at this point that it's pretty close to running where we would expect it. Right now we're having test results that are rough results. So we don't have certified results from the lab yet for like this week, but it's been running relatively well as of the middle of October. So hopefully by the next time you see me, we'll be able to have some confirmation of that. Have the substantial completion date up here of January 11th. And then when I provide updates, I'm just going to keep these status. This area represents 13% of the TMDL goal for Pompanesett Bay. So, for phase two, just a reminder, the slide to the left is the area north of Town Hall, and the slide to the right is the area south of Town Hall that's included in this project. I reviewed the top portion of this last time. I just have this up here for reference. All 6 contracts were given the notice to proceed in September. We now are we did pre-construction meetings in the month of September, and now we're doing what are called progress meetings on a monthly basis. For this month of October, we've done 4 of the 6 progress meetings. And right now, the focus on these projects are staging areas, schedules, and shop drawings for the products that are going to be proposed for this project. And for Phase 2, this whole project represents 29% of the TMDL goal for Pompanesett Bay. For the Mashpee-Wakeby Satellite Facility, just a couple of updates. We've done 3 resident workshops, September 11th, the 25th, and then October 9th. Today we have a tour of a similar facility that we're hosting between the hours of 4 and 6 at the end of Amos Circle in town. And then we have another resident workshop tonight at 7. We did submit an SRF application for this project on October 1st. It was due October 3rd. So we met that deadline, and then there's an upcoming town meeting article on October 20th for this project. So I spoke a little bit about the watershed management plan update. We've also used the term notice of project change, which is a DEP term for this project. This is the update to the 2015 plan. We have received a couple of comments on the draft phasing plan that we reviewed with a couple of different entities within the town and commissions. And when I presented last month, I'd mentioned I had to review the phasing plan with DPW, and we now have done that. So our next step is to come up with a phasing plan that, I would hope incorporates all the comments that we've received. So that's the next step is for us to provide that to you. And hopefully, if we have a consensus on that, then the next steps with that would be to submit that for MEPA review and ultimately to get a certificate for that. So that would become the new plan for the town.
When is that due, please?
So doesn't really have a due date, but it would be nice to, I'd like to come next month to show you the revised phasing plan. And I don't know who has to give permission. I believe it might be the select board that would need to give permission to submit it to MEPA. MEPA is a public review process. And there are going to be 2 cycles of that. So usually what happens is you submit to MEPA, you get comments, then you respond to those comments, and then you submit again, and you get a final certificate. So I would hope within the next maybe 4 months or so, we could be heading down that path for MEPA approval. It's not holding you up on anything. You still have the 2015 plan, but it's an update and would provide, one of the things that this plan does is we coordinated with DPW on paving that's been done. So it does bring things up to current day. So just as a reminder, the ultimate goal that the town has is to achieve 75% compliance with the TMDL for each of the 2 watersheds in town. There are more watersheds in town, but the smaller ones, you got what's called a de minimis waiver. So you do not have to do anything with those. So the primary watersheds, Pompanesett Bay and Wacoit Bay, you have to achieve 75% compliance with those TMDLs within about a 20-year period. And I say about just because that clock starts to tick once you get a watershed permit. And that watershed permit would be issued sometime within the next 4 or 5 years or so, okay? So I want to talk.
Question about
Sure.
the watershed permit. Is
Yeah.
that the one that's going to be in conjunction with other towns with us, or is it only Mashpee's watershed permit?
So it can be with other towns, yes. You can have your own, or you could do it in conjunction with other towns. Yep.
Okay, so it still needs to be written, so that, and then we'll know whether or not, because there have been the intermunicipal agreements, and there's been discussions among the different towns, Barnstable, Falmouth, Sandwich. So we'll see how many of them would be coming in on the same watershed permit
Yep.
with us for the shared watershed.
So everybody has the same ultimate deadline,
Right.
which is, I think it's 2029 or 2030. So everybody has that same deadline, but there are towns that are pursuing this sooner, so you certainly have that option to pursue it sooner. But this would probably be a subject of the IMA meetings, so.
Just to add, I think each
Use your
individual,
microphone, please.
I think each individual town is going for their separate watershed permit. We are working together under the IMA, but for filing purposes, each town, Barnstable, Sandwich, Falmouth, and Mashpee have gone on their own route to receiving individual watershed permits.
Great, okay, that's nice to know that it's separate, even though the cooperation will be certainly warranted and expected and hoped for, but in order to get the job done,
Yes.
they have to be filed separately. Okay, I understand that now.
I wanted to talk about the Wacoit Bay watershed. So I did talk a bit about this last month. I have a couple of updates I'll add. So the primary work that's been underway is an evaluation for recharge sites, as well as an evaluation for location of facilities, okay? So the first thing I'll talk about is a evaluation for recharge sites. We did complete a preliminary assessment of one property that kind of rose to the top of the priority list, if you will. We have been held up by access rights issues to be able to get to the site to do field work. So that's where that stands right now. We're still working on it, but you know, we've identified a site and we would like to get onto it to do some borings and some other types of work. As far as the infrastructure, we've identified a site for a treatment facility. We have now, as part of the sewer phasing coordination we've been doing with DPW, we have identified a target for the sewer area that would be part of this. And then recharge is the third component of it. So you have the plant, you have the collection system, and the recharge, okay? I didn't note this last time, but I do want to make sure you're aware that the Wacoit Bay work has been in the town's CIP, the capital improvement plan, since last year. So that is slotted in there, and I just want to make sure you are aware of that. So a study that is next on tap would be to look at recharge further, and this is for both watersheds, because with phase two, once phase two is complete, we will have no identified recharge area in Pompanesett Bay, and we are trying to get a better site or at least another option for Wacoit Bay. The target for Pompanesett Bay is to try to get additional recharge at the existing site. So to propose to the state a higher rate of recharge within the sand bed. So that's going to be the target going forward. We do think we can do that up to a point, but that's going to be we think we could probably get at least one more stage in there, but maybe we could get two. So that's the next step for Pompanesett Bay. For Wacoit Bay, goal is the site that we've identified right now is quite a distance away from the treatment facility. I'd like to try and identify a site closer. And I mentioned this last time that there's a PFAS plume, which I'm going to show in a little bit more detail. That's a challenge. It's not going to hold us up, but it is a challenge before us. This work here is, we just submitted a grant application to the state. We got a grant last year through the same program, and it funded recharge evaluation, so we submitted another request to the state. One of the good things about this grant program is that they retroactively will reimburse you for the project as long as it's within the same fiscal year. So we could get underway, and unfortunately, they don't sometimes award this until the spring, and you have to finish it by the end of the fiscal year in June. So anyway, if we got it, it would be great. But this was the subject of a town meeting article in the spring. This study was, so. So the challenges before us in Pompanesett Bay is mounding. I talked about that last month. For Wacoit Bay, the two challenges that we have before us, so the primary ones are mounding and the PFAS plume. Let me just show you what I mean when I talk about this PFAS plume. So this is a figure that shows, it shows sites that we've preliminarily identified as, they're town-owned and their potential for recharge. The pink area represents a confirmed PFAS plume, and the yellow is what's called a presumed PFAS plume. And you can see most of the sites that have been identified, again, town properties, are in one of those areas. It's not a showstopper, but the state did indicate that we're going to have to convince them of some things in order to have a recharge site located within this plume. So I just want to just showing this just so you could see, the challenge. It's a lot of the sites we've identified are going to face this challenge, and that's going to be part of what we're going to be looking at with the next study. So.
Is that also common to other towns on the Cape? Are they also facing PFAS issues?
Not like this. This is coming from the base.
Okay, so this is primarily from the base. Okay.
Yeah. So, and it's with DEP. They've asked us to. So they don't have an identified process, and that's why we started looking elsewhere, because when there's not an identified process, I don't know how long it's going to take to get an approval. So we're going to start heading down that path just to see if it's something that we can get permitted in a short amount of time. But if not, we have identified sites outside of this, but they're quite a distance away. So again, challenge, not a showstopper, okay? So that's all I had, and any questions?
I think one of the things that you're continuing to point out is that it is challenging to try to address the issue of clean water. Whether it's the site and the issues on the site and trying to find a way to keep the footprint as small as possible, or whether the problem is going to be within the recharge. So there are going to be, and everybody is going to be facing that, but we have to be concerned about Mashpee. And
Yep.
I applaud you, and I thank you, and thank our wastewater team for working so diligently to try to see how we can get the best advantages and the best ways possible, given the funding that's available, that's been available, and that we're one of the lucky towns that have been able to get that. I don't know if it has to do with the same way that when I used to write grants, if the grants are well-written, you get funded. So thank you, because it's your diligence that has caused us to be able to get this, so, yeah.
Oh,
Mark,
thank
I
you.
do have one question.
Yep.
The presumed area, is there any way realistically that we can find whether it is or
Is or is
isn't?
not?
Or is that asking for trouble?
I don't know if you know the answer to that.
Presumed is more likely than not.
Okay.
So, even the extent of the confirmed, there is presumed further south that it's more likely than not there is concentration. So within that area,
So it's not worth,
it's just a permitting hurdle
Yeah.
that will take time.
okay.
Is this plume moving at all?
We know that there's evidence of PFAS, elevated PFAS levels in specifically blue crabs and quahogs in the Quashnet, which is related to this PFAS plume and groundwater from this PFAS plume. So it is migrating south in the groundwater.
But isn't the base also working on ways of trying to clean it up?
Yes, they are, they proposed additional extraction wells on Sandwich Road in Falmouth. I'm not sure if those have been built yet. I know they were docketed for funding, but Joint Base Cape Cod and the Air Force's cleanup team have proposed, I think it was an additional 4 extraction wells in 2 to 3 reinjection wells. So that's basically carbon filtration systems where they're withdrawing the groundwater, treating, and sending it back down. I don't know if they've put them in yet. I know that they have some that are in place on Sandwich Road that have been working for over 10 years now. But yeah, I'm not sure about the status of the additional extraction wells, but they are working to clean up the area.
Okay, we just don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, good enough. Are there any other questions? Mr. Erickson, Mr. Tullo? Okay. And I don't have any. You have covered the same material, and I'm thankful for the updates, because I think it's important that people are able to see, if not from here today, then being able to look at the video at a different time. So thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, so the next area of business would be the chair's report. So I just wanted to remind everyone about a really wonderful PSA that was done for Mashpee TV by a select person in Colombo. And it's a wonderful PSA that talks about the Mashpee-Wakeby watershed, Papaneset Bay watershed, Mashpee-Wakeby project, and why it makes sense to do this project now. And it's very well put together, and I do advise people to watch it and to pay attention to it, because it gives you a lot of good information about why now and why it makes sense to do this. The other thing that I would also like you to remember, as we'll keep reminding you, is that October 20th is town meeting. And we would like to have good attendance at the meeting, and the most important thing is that we want you to be there so that you can vote. We're not here to tell you how to vote, we're just here to tell you that it would be a great idea that you're there and vote, and to pay particular attention to our particular warrant that's on the docket, and also the charter revision, number 13. So our warrant is number 4, and the charter revision is number 13. There'll be 14 different warrants, but those two are the two that are near and dear to our hearts. There is another issue that I wanted to just raise about the easement letters. There was, but we have an area where there's 2 pieces of correspondence that came in from 2 residents, and they're worried, concerned, or not knowledgeable about the easement letters that went out once the Sewer Commission had voted that we needed to have an easement across properties so that the pipes can go in and so that the grinder pumps can go in. People then needed to have letters that went out to them to say, the town of Mashpee is going to need easement through your property. It's not a property taking, it's an easement through the property in order to bring the utility components through. So I just wanted to clarify that, and the letters were answered very well by Karen Leslie, and who's the staff person or the administrative person from the wastewater treatment, just so that people are not worried about these easements. Their land is not being taken, it's just granting permission so that the system can be built and brought through. So are there any other questions? Are there any questions about that, or any other comments that you'd like to make about that? Nope?
Well,
Any
I can
comments?
add to that, just, people.
Use your microphone, please.
People may not understand that, easements are for, like, correct me if I'm wrong, utility poles, fire hydrants, city sidewalks in front of your home and stuff. That's, they issue an easement for that.
Right.
So, it's not like we're taking your property, we're bettering the town and the, so.
And we need people's permission, we need
Yeah,
residents' permission to say, we're going to be coming across your property.
It's for everyone's benefit, and
It's for
it's not a
everyone's
bad
benefit to
thing.
do it. Okay, the next item on the agenda is an update from the wastewater superintendent, Mr. Meter.
All right, so what I'm going to do is start off with just give you an update at the plant. What we're doing is they've started clearing the property for the new admin building, which is deadlined for the end of the year, the fiscal year. And they're hitting it hard and heavy, so we should see rapid construction going on there. And then
Where is this? I'm sorry.
this is at the treatment facility, the new admin building. They've started doing the clearing there, as
Okay.
well as for the recharge beds, the additional recharge beds. So you'll see
Okay.
equipment out there and some trees coming down. We also have today a Following this meeting at 4 o'clock, there will be a tour of an amphidrome system here in the town of Mashpee at Mashpee Village. Anybody's welcome to come and see what this system is and what it looks like. Just to kind of, the hope is just so people can understand how really small it really is compared to our other facility, and how unimposing it is. And the last thing.
Excuse me, before you go on, Jared, I'm directionally impaired, so telling me that it's an Amos Circle, I wouldn't know how to get there.
So-
So people should just be going, I know it's Mashpee Village, but I didn't know, how would people get
You know where the
there?
high school is?
Yeah,
Before you get to the high school, you have the intersection. Before you get to the intersection, that's where you go. And basically across from South.
Yes, they're across from Southport. So if you go up, is it Old Barnstable Road?
Old Barnstable.
Old Barnstable Road, and you go on to Wampanoag Road, or is it Wampanoag Village Road? And you just go to the back of the development, just go all the way to the back, all roads lead to the back.
Okay.
And there'll be a cul-de-sac back there, and that's where the treatment plant is, all the way in the back there.
Okay.
And you'll see my big green Bronco there. Green and gold Bronco, can't miss it. And that's where
all
I'll be.
right, so, but there were some rumors that there was going to be a bus to get people there, and so people would be going in their own cars, hopefully carpooling, to go and take a look at it. Will there be anyone there to talk to them about what it's going to look like, or?
We'll be
Do they
there.
just go there to look?
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll be
so
there to
will
answer
be
any
people
questions.
To answer any questions.
Yes.
And that's today between the hours of 4 and 6 in Amos Circle, and it's at the back of the Mashpee Village complex.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Ashley can
I'm-
do the connections.
Yeah. So just a brief update on the Phase 1 connections. Out of 300 homes, 154 connections have been completed and inspected. 205 permits have been pulled. And we received notification from 257 homeowners entirely that they have the intent to connect and have hired a contractor. Out of the 300 homes, 43 homes have yet to contact our offices or respond to the notice to connect. So there is a plan to send out a notification to those homes, just
Can I ask you a
reiterating.
question before you go forward? So you've got 300 homes,
Mm-hmm.
and 154 so far have been connected.
Correct.
And then when you said that there were 205 permits were issued, was that beyond that, or included? within that?
Included.
Including, okay. And then there are 257 new permits that people have noted to you that they're going to connect.
So 257 homes have either pulled permits, completed their connections, or contacted our office that we have had, they are intending to connect with a contractor. So that's roughly 85% of all of the homes in Phase 1 are on their way to connect.
Have you gotten any feedback about how happy people are that have connected or not?
Not really. I don't.
Get all the questions and comments before they connect, and then once it's done, it goes silent, which I think is a good thing. It seems like it's working good. We do have a little bit of, each property is different, so we get a lot of conversation like, oh, we want to do this, and so we spend some time out there walking with the property owners or with the installers and just figuring out what's the best route, most cost-effective route. And we actually did our first grinder pump installation last week, so it's starting, it's running, and we'll be getting another one coming Monday.
This is the individual home grinder pumps, or, yeah, okay, great. I think it's good when there's silence, because people are happy with what's going on. I have gotten some informal feedback from people who have connected and said that they could not be happier. They just are so glad that they are connected and that it has solved the problem in case their septic system fails and any other issues that they've had with maintenance of it, and they're very excited about it.
And actually, I want to reiterate, so I know some people are concerned about when that first billing's coming out. We've already decided it's already passed, but we're going to hold off on billing till we know 100% that the Munis software is working accurately. The last thing I want to do is send out bills, find out something was wrong, and then have to do abatements. And to me, it just destroys confidence in our billing process. So it could be another quarter, but we want to make sure the first bills go out accurately.
Yes, you mentioned that at the last meeting, so I'm glad you're repeating it, because it's important that people know that we're working with them to try to make sure that the system is working, and so we're not going to bill you before the system's working absolutely perfectly, and everybody's connected that needs to be connected at the time.
And we will not be going all the way back to the first one. It'll be
Exactly. It'll
an
just be
exact
for
quarter,
that.
so somebody won't get hit with a really huge first bill. It'll be for a quarter.
Great, so it'll be billing for the quarter and sometime within the next several months.
Yes.
Okay, great. Probably not till January. Okay.
That's, anything else? I'm good.
No.
Yeah, I got nothing else. That's it for me.
Okay.
Okay, and I want to just thank Ashley and Karen for helping to put together the summary of where we've been and where we've gone and how we're coming with it, and we're going to try to put it in the newspaper at some point in time, hopefully before the vote, yeah. But thank you for all of your diligence. I know you've been working very, very hard these last few months. I'm not even going to say a week, the last few months, so thank you.
And I don't know if we would just want to remind the residents again that there is the final engagement session tonight.
Yep, final engagement tonight is at 7, and it's going to be in this room.
Yes.
Yep. And it will be televised.
Correct.
Okay. Are there any other comments? Are there any other pieces of information that anyone would like to share? Well, then, if that's the case,
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
you staged that.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so
Aye.
we are now adjourning at 2:32.